Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. It's opening Saturday at Gulfstream Park. That means it's Claiming Crown afternoon and the feature race on the Claiming Crown Extravaganza, race number 11. Let's take a look at the field. We're going 1.1 1/8 for the $200,000 Claiming Crown Jewel. You have got a full field and you've got a little bit of everything. You've got horses that can compete in graded stakes on synthetic. You've got some really sharp horses coming out of the claiming ranks from various levels, sprinters, routers, turf horses, you name it.
It's just a really hard race to have any super strong opinion, and tip of the cap, if you do have a really strong opinion, you should get paid. But really, this race boils down to there's one horse in particular. If we find out that he can run on dirt, he's probably just going to win.
Agreed. That's the number 6, Gigantic Breeze, who has not been off the board from 7 starts this year. 5 of those races resulted in wins. One of them, last time out, a very impressive win in the Grade 2 Autumn Stakes, where he took down a big scalp up in Canada, and that's Melmick. 98 Beyer. His last 4 races, Beyers of 96 or higher. If he can translate that form to dirt, he's simply winning.
Yeah, he's going to win. He's just that much faster than everybody else.
That's a big if.
It's a big, big if. I mean, we're not even talking about, you go through, he's never stepped foot on a dirt track. You go all the way back to 2015. I suppose the little training track at Woodbine has dirt, but I mean, he has been campaigned on synth and turf his entire career. I have no idea if he can step over and transition over. Obviously, he's going to win. I don't want to find out what I think is going to be a heck of a lot shorter than 4-1 morning line.
Our stakes preview brought to you by DRF Bets. If you sign up, you get $300 with which perhaps to play the Claiming Crown card. Head on over to drf.com/fall. Use the promo code FALL300. The number 9, Jay's Way, has speed. The problem is with Jay's Way's speed is that there are other speeds in the race, as we see from the Timeform US pace projector. They do have Jay's Way up front, but that red bar, perhaps a red flag for Jay's Way fans, fast pace expected.
Yeah, you know, and I guess I kind of look at it and say that most recent start, it was a starter allowance at Gulfstream West. He got buried by Dreaming of Gold on the front end, so I know he was off of a long layoff, maybe he needed one, but boy, you're going to be going just as fast, if not faster, considering you're breaking into the first turn. If you're Landeros, you've got to make sure that this horse gets out and clears, otherwise you're going to be hung 5 wide.
I won't hold the last race too much against him, simply because, as you mentioned, it was the layoff and he had to run hard pretty much from the start. I think he'll do better second off the bench, but a fast pace going 1.1 1/8 in a big field like this, I think it might work against him. We do see the number 12, Flashy Jewel, up close to this pace, and that's how he likes to run. He was claimed 2 back for a whopping $80,000 by a great trainer in Michael Maker. Kind of got thrown to the wolves in the Lucas Classic. Just look at the horses he was in against, most notably Seeking the Soul, who came back to run twice. Track record at Keeneland, Grade 1 Clark handicap. This is a drop in class, and he has races to indicate that he can win. But you like him better when he's controlling the pace instead of in chase mode.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, I go through and look, his best races come when he's outright on the lead. The other thing, again, you know, it sounds like we just keep beating a dead horse at this point, but breaking from the far outside to the outside post, going 1.1 1/8 at Gulfstream, you're way up against it, and that's even for the good horses. I'm not saying that Flashy Jewel isn't a good horse, but my goodness, I have a hard time envisioning a good scenario or a good trip for Tyler Gaffalione.
It is such a short run to that first turn that you really have to come out guns blazing with a speed horse or a presser, or you're going to be hung out very, very wide. And a similar situation could occur with the horse on the far outside, the 13 Flowers for Lisa, who won first off the Jorge Navarro, claimed 3 back, beaten favorite in his last 2 races. But from out there, Paco Lopez has just got to go and hope for the best. And with speed directly inside of him, I'm not sure. This horse could be 5-6 wide going onto the bend.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You're going to, not only going to be wide, but you're going to be using your horse to try to get out to that point. I just don't, again, the 12 and the 13 for me, I think they're fine horses. I just think I have a hard time envisioning a good setup and a good trip for them.
A fast pace would set up very nicely for the 2, Turco Bravo, who has a cozy inside post position and should save valuable ground going into the first turn. This horse is an old campaigner that has a lot of fast races on the Wayback Machine. Heck, he was second to Shaman Ghost in the Brooklyn during the spring and summer of 2016. He's been in the exact 30 of 63 times. He was claimed for 32. They ran him against the very sharp Made for Lucky in the Temperance Hill. He caught a good field last time out of optional claimers. I think you can say he's going to get some class relief and he's going to get the right setup.
Yeah, the other thing about that most recent start at Aqueduct, if you believe the Timeform US color codings, it was an intensely speed-friendly track. He was trying to come from off the pace. The Temperance Hill hasn't come back strong, but I mean, in all honesty, I mean, a mile and 5/8 race, other than the exception made from Lucky, you're probably not going to get the strongest field and that sort of thing. My concern with this horse is that a mile and an 8 seems like it's on the sharp side, and at Gulfstream, he's going to need a barbecue.
Yeah, he might be a mile and a quarter, mile and a half type of horse. Now, we talked about Maker's number 12 in here, that being, of course, Flashy Jewel. I think the 7 capital letters might even have a better chance of upending the apple cart. I think he has the right running style. Since being claimed by Maker, they've sort of tried to teach him to come from off the pace. It worked last time out at Churchill Downs in a race that was washed off of the turf. He's going to have to do it at a mile and an 1/8. I think he has it in him with the right trip.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you look, he closed into slow splits last time, still got the job done. Draw a line through that turf race, too, back. I don't really care about that. His first start out with these connections was just fine, won by a neck. I think it makes a lot of sense in here. If you get that pace that you need up front, he's going to come to the run.
Dream Saturday was third in the Grade 1 Carter Handicap Sprinting back in 2015 and was claimed by a very shrewd horseman in Peter Walder out of his most recent start. Even when he was the good Dream Saturday, he's probably at sort of the downside of his career at the age of 6. We didn't really like him going long. We thought he was more of a sprint horse. Has Walder seen something that we've all missed?
Perhaps. I certainly wouldn't bet on it. I think at this point he's run 25 times. He's about to be 7 years old. I think you know what you've got, and I think they're going to try to go out there. He at least has the ability to sit off of the pace a little bit. He doesn't need to be guns blazing, even with the stretch out. Having said that, you also look at him right now. I mean, he's just not fast enough at this point.
Indian Guides made most of his hay on turf, but recently he's sort of turned into a dirt horse for a pretty good trainer down in South Florida. And he's got the right running style for this race, because even though this post is kind of lousy, I think you just let the 9 go, you let the 12 go, you let the 13 go, and all of a sudden maybe you're settling into a 3-wide trip in the second or third flight, getting the right pace scenario. Is he this good? That's the big question mark.
Yeah, you know, I suppose it depends. I feel like there are different tiers in this race. You've got a horse like Gigantic Breeze, who is obviously very, very good. And then you've got a bunch of horses in that sort of middling group where if they feel good on Saturday afternoon, they've got a big chance. If they don't feel good and they don't run their race, then they're way up against it. I think Indian Guide is just in raging form right now. If you're going to find out if he's good enough, this is the time to do it.
Diamond Bachelor was a surprising second in this race last year at 38-1. Might be a completely different situation because his game is speed. Couldn't make the lead last time out because he didn't really break. But if he breaks, he's got to go. That's the only way he can win. And with the 9, 12, and 13 showing speed, A, I'm not sure Dirt's his game, and B, with other pace in the race, how is he going to survive?
Dirt, he's 0 for 14. My big thing with him coming into last year, at least if you wanted to go back some revisionist history, he was in really good form leading into this race. This year, his form has been terrible. I wanted to make a case, I couldn't do it.
I know you're a fan of the 3-year-old, number 3 Clubman, who ran an okay 4th in the Maryland Million Classic at this distance 2 starts back, then cut back to 6 furlongs and won an allowance race. Do you like him at a mile and an 1/8, or do you think he's kind of a tweener?
I wonder if the turn back was sort of an indication that maybe he wants to go shorter than longer. I tried him in the Maryland Millions, and he just kind of was even. He's going to need to run the race of his life. He's going to win.
I've always tried to make Fearless Dragon into a nice horse. He was claimed by Safi Joseph 4 starts back, got a win last time out going 7. But like the horse we just talked about, I'm not sure if the distance is what he really wants. I think it's really pushing it a mile and an 1/8.
Couldn't agree more. I looked at him long and hard, and you go through, and it just seems like his best races have been coming at shorter distances.
All right, we talked about a lot of horses. We haven't talked about the horses we liked yet. Let's take a look at our picks for the $200,000 Claiming Crown Jewel. You like the Big Gray, the 5. Dreaming of Gold. Can he sit? He's done it in the past on turf. He's been really aggressively ridden his last couple races.
Like is a strong word statement because I don't really like him. I'm reluctantly picking him. You and I have never liked him. I think he's just a bit of a, he loses races he shouldn't lose. But I have to be honest, I feel like his 2 most recent starts, they were both good. And my theory with this horse is that his runs at Gulfstream West, I don't think he loves the racetrack there. I think he ran as well as he did last time out in spite of the racetrack. You look at his runs at Gulfstream Park, he ran very well 2 starts back. Thought it was a good effort. He almost broke his maiden at Gulfstream against a horse called Shaman Ghost. We know what he's capable of, so clearly he ran into a decent horse. I don't know. I mean, he's probably best when he's on the lead. He's not fast enough to make the lead, I don't think. But at the same time, if they throw it down early, I know he's in good form. I know he likes the racetrack. If he can get the jump on the horses coming from the back, I'll take a shot with him. But I was torn. For me, it was between he and Indian Guide.
15-1, though, on the morning line for the 5, Dreaming of Gold. Matt's going 5, 11, 6, and the 1, my top pick. That's Chunnel. Wow, what a surprise. Jorge Navarro took over this horse 5 starts back, and Chunnel's he's just found himself. He's won 4 out of 5 races for Navarro. Last time out, he won with a 90 buyer, winning by basically the length of the stretch, beating an okay, optional claiming horse named Mills. Channel draws the great inside post position, and that could really be the key to this race, because if he breaks under Nick Juarez, he can just sort of settle in, let the speeds go gangbuster, try to save valuable ground. And I think being by English Channel, he'll get the mile and an eighth. A mile and a 16 is good for him. A mile and an eighth still a question from all of his form. I'm hoping the English Channel gets him home. He's 6-1 on the line, and something tells me he might be half that price at post time.
He might get bet. The good thing, though, that you've got with this horse, not only that inside post, but he doesn't have to have the lead. He can sit just off, like you say.
That's the key.
Let the speeds clear, sit the pocket, and then let stamina end up being sort of the difference maker.
167 for me in the claiming Crown Jewel. Again, if you want to play the Gulfstream Saturday card, no better place than DRF Bets. $300 sign-up bonus just waiting to be collected. All you have to do, go to drf.com/fall, use the promo code FALL, 300, and post time for the Jewel, the claiming Crown Jewel, 5:08 Eastern. Good luck.